Greetings and blessings. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. I am your humble host, Mr. David Knoll. A little late with this live stream, but getting in firewood and trying to get the house warm, and so a little late here. But I greet you as always with the love and the honor of the infinite creator for each and every one of you. And I continue to pray that each and every one of you will accept and receive the blessings, the healing, and the wisdom and the knowledge from the universe. Now, with that said, this particular video brings up a subject about soul energy, soul, our spirit, and I would like to propose this particular thought, if you will. And there are people who say, well, the spirit and the soul are the same thing. Well, let me give a little bit of my personal opinion on this, and that our spirit is what we are now. In other words, whatever encompasses me right now, Hawkeye Two Feathers, this is my spirit. Now, it is connected to my soul, but my soul is the collection over lifetimes of spirit adventures, if you will. So they are connected, but right now, my spirit, although it is connected to my soul has all of the old um, memories, if you will. Hi, Ian, how are you? And but my spirit is like it's the current learning experience. They're both connected, but the one is more current, where the soul is like the forever thing. So now, in yesterday's video, in one of them, someone asked me a question that if you were being attacked, I mean, seriously, somebody's dragging you off somewhere, and putting thoughts in your head that you just may not really want to be a part of, or and you're not. So it's really difficult to be able to come up with some kind of protection against that, because any one of us in many places in this universe are subject to that kind of, I hate to use the word, but terrorism, if you will. It's there's some bloke out there or some entity that just don't like your ass. If they want to get you, they're going to do their best to try to get you. You know what I mean? And it's like all the protection in the world may not help you if certain entities or whatever are literally trying to kill you. Now, I know that sounds like, wow, gee whiz, Hawkeye, you're not giving me any positive information about this. Sometimes there are things that are way beyond our control. Now, but even in the most of dire of circumstances, hey, Gerald, how are you? Blessings to you both, Ian and Gerald, and anybody else out there. So, in this grand scheme of things, let's go back to the Christian side of stuff and talk about Jesus for a second. He said that he died on the cross to save our sins, both past and at that present, and for future events. Now, let's just stop and think about what this means for just a second. That means that if there was something, we already have the knowledge to not fall into the same trap again. So in Jesus' life, and along with other, I would say, divine entities on this planet, such as monks and you name it, Buddha, there has been many reincarnations of Buddha. But the thing is that one thing, um, and I'm using Jesus as the reference, he went out into the desert, right? And so the devil comes and tries to tempt him and says, look what I can show you. And Jesus says, like, big deal. I already own this, but, I don't have, do we have to actually own anything? Because, are we really here for that long a time to actually own something? Or should we be the caretakers of the property? Like for me, yes, I quote, own it up to a point. But there again, I myself consider it that, this land was here long before I got here, and it'll be here long after I'm gone. And so in that respect, I'm just on this piece of property for the moment. I'm a renter. I've leased the place for the length of that I choose to stay here. But going back to our spirit and our souls, so we can make the arrangement, regardless. That's the last part of the title of this. regardless of the outcome. Now, what do I mean by that? So if you're actually seriously committed to your own self, to your energy, to your core belief, they can torture me, kill me, do whatever they want, but they're not going to change what my soul life is, what my soul um, contract is. And that's, I'm sorry, but you guys can't have me. You can torture me, you can abduct me, you can put stuff in my head, but you can't have me. And that's the trick about this. And that's the message that basically Jesus was giving all of us. You make choices every single day. You have the opportunity to say, you know what? From this point on, I'm going to change. The two guys on the cross beside Jesus, one says, "To hell with you," and the other guy says, "How do I do this?" And Jesus said, "Ask for forgiveness." "But I'm dying here." And he was like, "Yeah, so ask for forgiveness." What a more appropriate time, but but so one believed and the other one didn't. Now you could say, well, maybe that whole story is just poppycock and the whole idea of Jesus, but let's just stick with the story for a second. Whether you believe it or not, the message has been discussed for 2,000 years, quote, through Christianity, that if we do well in this life, regardless of what happens to us, we will go to a better place the next. As some would call that heaven. I'm not going to get mixed up in names. But the idea, though, that if you give your soul up in this life, what do you have to expect in the next? Think about it. So, for example, everybody has heard about Robert Johnson, the famous black guitarist back in the early days of the 19th century, the 20s and 30s and 40s. Well, I don't think he made it to the 40s, but he went down to the crossroads and supposedly sold his soul to the devil so that he could play the guitar. Now, whether you believe it or not, but the point is, if that story were true, he came to a violent death. So that wasn't good, as far as that part goes. But what did Robert have to expect in the next life? Because he, quote, signed his soul over, he gave up his options. Well, you can have it because I want this. So therefore, what does he have to expect? I don't know. But he signed it over if the story were true. Now, all things aside, though, each one of us can make this decision several times a day if we need to. Which side are you working for? Are you working for the good side or the bad side? It's pretty simple. There are those who say, well, it's sort of complicated. No, it ain't. If you're working for the good side, then you're helping people. You want to do better with your own life. You want to become a better spiritual person. There are things on your list that ain't on the other guy's list. It just ain't. So are you equal? Yeah. We are equal in that we have the opportunity to make a choice. So if I make a choice to continue to be greedy, what is the outcome? I don't know, but it's not higher frequency vibrations. It has tainted my spirit in this life. So I may have been a good person in other lives, thus my soul. And I may have come here with a soul contract, which many of us believe. I believe. I believe in my soul contract is what I mean. And I do believe other people have made soul contracts, but I cannot speak for them. I can only speak for myself. And I know that I have been under attack many years because they didn't want me to get to this age. They did not want me to be able to talk to folks in such a way that I'm allowed to do so. Now, hi, Bob, by the way. A little bit of glitching going on tonight, but not too bad. Thank you, Bob, the AI, very much. We love you. And yes, Bob, we really do love you. The other ones we're not so fond of. Your brothers and cousins, not so fond. But anyway, I digress. But with the idea, though, that let's stick with this thing. Where do you think your soul should go? Well, my idea of heaven is not a gated community. It ain't heaven. It's not the pearly gates. My idea of heaven is the whole universe. and being released to be able to go back into the universe as an angel, as a spirit, as whatever, however you really want to, term it in your realm. But if I choose to do wrong things, and if I choose to choose greed in this lifetime, what does that do me in the future? Well, it has darkened my spirit. It has changed my frequency of my soul. So if you just think about, for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Well, I believe that up to a point. But if we have a reaction, in other words, we agree to be greedy, and I'm just going to use that one. Perversion, sexuality, hurting people, it's all because greed. We all want power. So greed covers a lot of different subtitles, okay? It isn't just about money. But the idea, though, that if we choose to be greedy in this life, what does it spell for us in the next? Now, here's the thought. Does it really matter in the future? In other words, what I mean is that if I agree to be good in this life, then probably positive things are going to happen, because that's the law of the universe. Something positive happens, a seed opens, a plant comes up, and a flower blooms. That's natural. That's beautiful. Whereas a toxic waste dump where nothing will grow, and that could possibly be the soul of the person who is filled with greed in this lifetime. So if they have somehow validated their own soul contract, well, they broke a vow to themselves and to the Creator, if you wish to go that far. But the biggest thing is that we must honor ourselves, respect ourselves, tell the truth about ourselves with ourselves. We have to be honest, and foremost with at least ourselves. Otherwise, how can we show truth to anyone else if we are hiding things within us? So in my videos, I'm brutally honest about many things, but it's not so much for you all, is that I can't hold it back. I have to speak it because that's part of my soul contract. Now, I could choose to do differently. In fact, I could have chose today to say, I'll just let this video slide. And they were like, oh, no, you ain't. You got your fire started. Now do this video while the house is warming up. And I'll put more wood on later. But so I can't drag this subject out long. But it's not a subject that needs to be drug out long. I don't think this should be a 2-hour video. It should be a video. This video should just state very simply, listen, in the universe, there's cause and effect. If you cause to be greedy, the effect is maybe you're going to be wanting at some point in the future. Just saying. So if you are wanting now, and for me, there are lots of things I realize that I want, but I don't really need them. So when I stop and think about that, I realize, well, crap, I've probably got everything I actually need right now. I could be a little bit more comfortable. It'd be nice if, somehow magically, a cord of split oak would appear in my front yard. But, that's okay. I'm good with that. But the idea, though, that, listen, if we want to manifest something, if I want to stay warm, I got to go cut firewood or burn this little heater over here that's running in the background. It'll cost me money that I don't really have. Firewood is cheap because I got trees down from the hurricane last year. And so, but it requires me to go out and get it. Now, I can manifest warmth if I go cut the firewood. Now, Creator, for good or bad, ill or not, the storm came through and blew down a lot of trees. Well, from that point of view, that was not necessarily a good thing. But on the other side of the coin, I have firewood that I can get that's pretty fairly easy to get to, considering some of the other wood. So, but I manifested firewood, but trees had to come down. So the storm did it, not me. And one could say, well, you allowed it to happen. I needed firewood and I didn't want to have to go drive 15 miles to go cut it and bring it home. And so did I cause it because I wanted local firewood? Nah, can't go there. But, for the storm provided me with firewood. Okay. So, in some way, shape, or form, my request to the universe, gee, it'd be nice if I had some good oak firewood near the house, kind of got my wish, rather abstractly. But so, manifestation of things can come in different ways. But my soul contract states that if I become greedy, then crap hits the fan for me. That's just how it goes. Because when I try to deviate from my soul's path, all kinds of crap happens. Now, even on my soul's journey, I've realized that there are many things that I had to undergo, many trials, tribulations, many aggravations, 3 days on the river with no food or water. But I had to learn about what spirit is. I had to go take a walk with the spirits, and I had to go on a journey that can only be gotten in certain ways. You have to make yourself available, if it were. So, and sometimes we think at great cost, but I should have been dead on that river, but I came out still alive. So, but wait a minute, you had no food or water for 3 days. Well, very little, but I survived in extreme heat during dog days of August. So, but the idea though that it have faith, trust in the plan, if you will, trust in yourself, trust in your own soul contract. And I had just gone through a very large ordeal in learning about how to be a medicine man, how to do ceremonies, and had done several full moon ceremonies with other people active, and had been the, the humble recipient of the energy to help heal and cure some of the people who came to the full moon ceremony that night. Some other tragic things happened that same night, but this discussion isn't about that. But it is about the fact that even with my soul contract, regardless of what attacked me and what was being actively sent my direction from literally up the hill from me, from folks who lived there at the time, I was being attacked by witchcraft, demonology. They were throwing all kinds of shit down my way. So I was under attack. I know what this feels like, y'all. You go to try to do something good, and no matter what I touched, shit just happened wrong. No matter how I tried to be kind, be good, it was like, don't touch anything. I couldn't play my flute for a while. I couldn't drum my drum because it always sounded clunky and out of sync. The flute, I couldn't get a decent tune out of that thing. Every note I played was sour. And I had to just not touch a lot of stuff for a while because there were outside forces that seemed to be tainting those things that were very natural to me prior to that position. Now, it's been close to 5 years now, and I've been working on those entities. And I can't say that they're all gone, but I can say that I'm much more stable and much more aware. I'm playing music again. I've used my drum and my flutes. So I know that the energy that had been sent my direction is no longer still attached. It, most of it anyway. There may be a residual, but I'm working on that. But to the point though, 2 years ago, I was ready to give up about all of it. Screw it. I'm done. It's been taken away from me. All these things have been stolen from me. I don't hear the puppet voices in my head. I don't hear the music anymore. I can't feel my fingers are sore from playing last night or early this morning. But I got my guitar out that was already out, but dusted it off and tuned it up and said, interesting. And I remembered chords. I remembered songs and words that I haven't played in sometimes 15 or 20 years. So it's like, but it all came back to me like there had been no time differential. But whatever was clouding those memories in me, and I'm telling you, there were some folks who were doing some hoodoo on me, actively doing hoodoo. And it's really difficult to try to get yourself out of that situation. Sometimes you just have to sit back and protect yourself at all cost. And don't give in. Don't give in to the fact, well, but I'm really trying to do something good here. But if I touch something, it's like what was gold turns to crap. I mean, literally crap. and something that had value no longer has any value. I mean, it was really, really odd, strange, and but anyway, but to the point though, I never lost my faith. I never gave up on my, excuse me, got the hiccups here. Oh, I don't have coffee. What's wrong with me? Well, there was something on the bottom of that cup. I hope it wasn't a roach. But anyway, but the idea, though, that regardless of what happened to me, I refused to give in to the dark side in any way, even though the things that I were trying to do was, they really were positive things. The outcome was just screwy. So I just had to stop and say, all right, tell me when it's safe. Now it's been lots of meditation, lots of prayer, lots of, going to the river and kayak, and a whole round. Many of you have been around the last few years, and you've seen, because I've talked about what my experiences and so forth to share them with you. But the bottom line is, I don't care what they did to me. I refuse to give up on my original soul contract. Now, am I as effective as I could be? I'm not even going to go there. Things have turned out differently? Who knows? But the thing is that I still have my own faith. I still have my own convictions that it is my job. It is my job to thank you, but no, I don't want that right now. Thank you. It is my job to speak as plainly and as openly as possible to folks and get you to think. Get you to think about, wait a minute, is there only one way into this or out of this mess? Wait a minute, there are variables in this for each one of us, because each one of us has our own soul contract. We have our own life. We have our own, how we were raised and all of that kind of stuff. So what we do is we use our spirit energy in this life to make sure that our soul contract stays valid. So now, do I know what's on the other side? No. I know from my own personal experience, and I've tried to explain it before, it ain't as bad as people think. Oh my God, but it's totally different. We have no idea what the experience is because we have forgotten. Near-death experiences, which I've had several, and not a joke, not a lie, but honestly, near-death experiences, not counting the walk in the park with the spirits over that long weekend years ago. But the idea, though, that I refuse to give in. I refuse. If they kill me if in 2 minutes they say, look, you got 2 minutes, make up your mind. Are you going to work for us or not? Or are you going to stop working for the other side? My answer is still no. So what is, and I can't answer this for y'all. You have to answer this. Regardless of what has happened to you, regardless of what you think your future may or may not hold, because you really don't know. You could buy a scratch off and win $1 million, because it happened to a friend of mine. But to the idea, though, that do we really know what our future holds? Are we absolutely certain? Because every day we have the option to make a different choice. And if something happens, like me and Breaking Dawn, for example, I had not had any intentions of going down and doing what we did, that not a year ago, not 6 months ago. But the event happened, and through prayer and guidance and angel help, it has turned out okie dokie up to this point, I guess. Yeah, she's over here eating. But to the point, though, neither one of us had really foresaw this coming. I don't think. Did you? Nope. Okay, so neither one of us foresaw this. We foresaw the two of us doing something together in the future, but we thought it was going to be through YouTube and this thing. And, but as far as I was going to go down and get her out and bring it, nah, that wasn't on the list. But it was on a higher list. It was on a list that was above both of our pay grades. She's laughing over here in the corner over here while she's eating. And shame on me. She was cooking and I was like, nah, I need to do this video because I promised. But anyway, but the idea though that neither one of us, regardless of our situations, have given up on our core values nor our core soul contract, regardless of what the outcome may be, regardless of how crappy it may be between here and now, between now and then, whenever then is, or whatever the distance or time or space, it doesn't matter, because between the two of us, me and she's going, yeah, over here in the corner, we're not no, you can't change. We're not changing our minds. We're not going to work for the dark side. Sorry. So can you make that decision? Can you? And you don't have to answer, because it doesn't matter to me. It matters to you and only you. Now, the people around you, it matters, because your commitment then means that you made a promise. And so if you made a promise, if you made a soul contract, and you're reneging on it in any way, shape, or form, you are dishonoring yourself. You are dishonoring the universe, because you made this contract on a much higher level. So if you think, well, I don't know if I'm really doing what I'm supposed to be doing, maybe you need to get off your ass and do it. What's stopping you? What's holding you back? Is it fear? Well, my family, a lot of my family wrote me off. But then my daughter came back and said, oh God, Pops, you know, the things you talked about years ago, I see so clearly now. And other people that I've talked about have said, you talked about this shit 10 years ago. And now I'm starting to get it. And I'm like, I'm just trying to help y'all. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but I'm trying to help you open up your own eyes so you can see the truth. My truth is not necessarily your truth. They're very similar, but they're not the same, because I'm me and you're you. That's what makes it different. But we can both be working for the same side, but you can be, I don't know, you can be a cook, and I've worked in the kitchen at the prison, so there's nothing wrong with being a cook. But you could be the cook, and then there might be somebody else out there that's doing the sword fighting kind of thing. They're actually engaged in battle. But the thing is that the folks who are out on the battlefield need to get fed. So a cook, the people that support the folks on the battlefield are just as important. When I was watching the Sands of Iwo Jima with John Wayne, and old 1960s movie, but they had real live footage of Iwo Jima. It was like, whoa. And the idea, though, that there was one particular scene in there where they were stuck in a foxhole, and one of these three guys goes back to get ammunition. But somebody says, hey, you want a cup of coffee? And he goes, sure. He stops, get a cup of coffee, pours some in his canteen to take back to his buddies, who just got overrun by the Japs because he didn't make it back in time with ammunition. And so he had to live with the fact that, but he took coffee for them, but in just a few short minutes of his getting back with ammunition, one of his friends survived, but the other one died. And he put it on himself, when actually he was trying to do something good. Let me get coffee for my buddies. I'm going to take in some ammunition. But the thing is even though his intent was good, the outcome wasn't. One of his buddies got killed. The other was severely wounded, but survived, at least in the movie part of it. But to the point, though, that actually happens in real life. We stop for 2 seconds to do something, and maybe it saves our life. There's been times where, I don't know, something happened, my car wouldn't start or some weird shit. And then I realize I get to an intersection in town, there's been a bad accident that just happened. Could that have been me? That's happened to me too many times. I don't even want to go there. But to the point, though, it's like, so maybe sometimes we're late for a reason. Now, I was perpetually late. That's just me. But my soul contract, the basis of our core values, can you stick with it? Or are you going to give up? Well, it's like dieting. Well, it's too hard. Well, I don't know, giving up cigarettes. Well, it's too hard. Well, but so giving up on your soul contract, that's really some tough shit. If you can't say no to a cigarette once in a while, or an extra piece of candy, or 2 more helpings at the buffet bar, then maybe you've already lost on your soul contract. Now, I'm not saying that you're condemned, but your soul contract may have been you're going to be tempted by food, by this, by that. And in your soul contract, you're supposed, because you want to help your soul in the next life and the continuing life that it has, your spirit in this mission, if you choose to accept it, mission impossible, if you choose to accept it, then you will be chased with adversities. You'll have problems with your weight. You'll have something. You'll have this. Mine was drug addiction and alcoholism. And I had, I spent basically most of my life trying to deal with that shit and failed a lot, damn near killed me several times. But the idea, though, that is, I still had the opportunity to change the direction of my own life. I had the choice. And Mother Mary stepped into the room and said, "It's time. Do you remember our conversation when you were 11, Hawkeye?" "Yes." "It's time. Are you going to fulfill your end of the bargain or not?" I still had the choice to go, that was just a figment of my imagination that appeared in my house. Nah, I'm just going to go buy another beer and forget about it. I didn't. I started doing more YouTube videos. I started asking the creator and asking the universe to send me information to help explain the things that I've seen and experienced so that you may discern for yourself what you think is right in the spiritual realm. And that there's been so many lies. Somebody's got to be around to tell us, at least give us another point of view. Now, am I right on all things? I'm not even trying to claim that. Okay. But I've got a strange sense of, looking at things. And in that, it's my job to pose that to you, unlike George Carlin did in many respects, to poke at your brain and go, let me stop and think about this. It's a crazy idea, but some bitch, there might be a little bit of truth in there. That's my job. So, and you folks are wonderful subscribers, people, and I know that each and every one of us are dealing with our own soul contracts, and individual life comes along and slaps us in the face on a daily basis sometimes and tries to take us off our course. Okay, we can get sidetracked, but do you give in to the dark side? Do you say, well, screw it, I'm not going to try to be good anymore? Or do you say, regardless of the outcome, I choose to still be on my soul contract? Now, you may not be able to fulfill it in the sense that, like for me, I thought I was going to travel around more than I am. That's not happening. But I am using YouTube and I'm traveling to different countries, which I don't think I could have done before. There are people in Australia and in Germany, and you folks are all over the place. So could I have traveled to your hometown and had this discussion? No. So in my quote traveling, I'm traveling on the Ethernet, on the internet. That's how I'm traveling. So my idea of traveling was my point of view of traveling. And I thought I was going to drive around to places. Now, I'm not dead yet, but the point is that what I thought it was going to be has just morphed into slightly something different. It hasn't really changed necessarily, but my point of view of it has. How I perceive it from where I stand. So from where I stand, I can't travel in the truck like I wanted to, but I can travel on the internet and share these thoughts with you so that you may, poke your brain and go, I had never thought about that crazy shit. That Hawkeye, he's some crazy mofo. He comes up with some wild ass stuff. That's my job. And Breaking Dawn's over here giggling about this too. Just Spitfire, how are you? How did I change on my own? Just Spitfire says. I said, I'm tired of being an alcoholic. I don't want to be remembered as a drunk. I don't want to be remembered as this, coat snorting, LSD tripping, old hippie type alcoholic that, can't keep his life straight. No, I was like, I'd had enough, I guess, the straw that broke the camel's back. Now, I've seen other people in my situations, and they just said, F it. They just said, screw it. I'm just going to keep drinking. And they like doubled down on their drinking. I just said, oh, no, 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 no. Um, Now, at that time that I gave up alcohol and the cocaine and so forth, I didn't know that I was going to be doing this, but I knew my life was on the wrong track, that being an alcoholic and a drug addict was not the way to go. So when I ceased those functions, or those activities, my point of view changed. My perception of the world changed. And I realized, oh crap. And then I started being a better director, a better actor, a better puppeteer and stage performer. I mean, I literally, because I was drunk and high all the time. I talk about being an actor. I was faking being an actor. I mean, how do you do that? But I realized, oh, holy crap. I was faking being an actor, faking a part. What? But it was my own decision. And every day you say, well, I don't know. There are tiny forks in the road. Do I make a left-hand turn here, or do I go straight into town? Every time I go to town, I'm like, well, we're going to this end of town, so I'm going to turn here. Or we're going to this end of town, or I'm going to go straight. So, but, the idea of I could go straight both every time and still get to my destination. But every day in our lives, we have these little decisions that we make. And if we keep making the wrong turn every time, then we just might end up with an addiction, or we ended up in a world of crap that we really had not intended. And sometimes it happens when we're trying to do good things. But my commitment to myself, I realized before Mother Mary reappeared, she had to wait until I was straight, because she could have appeared to me, but I was so high, I wouldn't have known it was her. So in order for me to, unbeknownst to me, in order for me to fulfill my soul contract, I had to stop being an alcoholic and a drug addict. But it was only until after I stopped those activities that I realized, oh, there's more to this. And for every year I stayed sober, for every year I stayed clean, the awareness became more pronounced. The awareness became more, stable in my own head. And then Mother Mary, along with Sister Helene, shows up in my living room, and they go, okay, Hawkeye, it's your turn. Now, not everybody gets, visions when they're a child, but sometimes we have visitations from the other side. And I mean, from the spirit realm, future, past, whatever it is, that give us warnings or choices or something. And we can either choose to fight it or give in. And life is just like that. Crap, I had a flat tire. I'm going home and getting drunk. No, I'm not. I'm going to change the tire and go on. It was just a flat tire. Yeah, but it slowed me down, and it pissed me off, and it got me upset, and I got dirt on my hands, and my good jeans were, have gotten dirt on them. So it was a flat tire. But in life, sometimes flat tires ruins people's lives, whatever the situation is. So sometimes you just have to look at something and go, well, this frickin' sucks. You're right, but it's just a flat tire. In the grand scheme of the universe, it's just a flat tire. Oh, but wait, hang on. Become that compassionate observer. And when you step back, even from your own problems, you go, well, son of a bitch, maybe I've got two flat tires, but they're just flat tires. My car isn't wrecked. I'm not in a ditch. The engine isn't blown. It's just two flat tires. Now, it's a real pain in the ass and a bitch, but it's only two flat tires. So, but we can say, oh, my car broke down. Everything is lost. Or you can say, car's broke down. We'll get it fixed. We'll get it towed to the house or something. How we look at our lives. Is it just a flat tire? Or is it the end of the world? Now, I would submit there are still people out there, oh my God, it came back around, that they finally found Planet X. Well, I've been waiting for 20 years, but hey, what's a little time amongst friends? But now that, there are still people out there saying, well, rapture's right around the corner. Wait a minute. You're still trying to tell us that we're all going to die? Of course we're all going to die. Duh, we're human beings. We all die. Nobody lives forever is in human form. But the rapture thing, oh my God, it's like they've doubled down on the rapture thing again. And it's like, but we're not dead yet. Oh, but World War III is about to start. Well, that was the headlines 3 weeks ago, and 3 weeks before that, and 3 weeks before that, and infinitum, back how many years now? Well, Trump's going to be impeached again. Well, Trump's done something stupid again, and Trump's done blah, blah. Oh my God, we've heard it ever since the day he was freaking elected. So, what's really changed? They're still doubling down with stupid. And they're still thinking we're going to buy it. Well, here, Mr. Hawkeye, I have this rotten tomato I want to sell you. Now, there's only a couple worms in it, but if you throw it in your frying pan and fry up that worm along with the tomato there, you won't know it's a worm. It'll just taste like tomato. So some of the world is trying to sell us a freaking rotten tomato with worms and going, yeah, but if you cook it just right, it'll be great. Hang on, ain't it still a rotten tomato? You can take that analogy for what you will in however you look at things, but just Spitfire. Change as in cold turkey, says Just Spitfire about my addiction. The alcohol, I dropped back. And now, see, I really liked a good glass of wine. But I would always drink 2 or 3. Because after I drank the first one, it was easy to put down the other 2 or 3 or 4 of the rest of the bottle. Same thing with a beer. So it got to the point where I'm only going to try to cut back. For me, it just didn't work. I had to just say, nah, that's it. The cocaine and stuff, the hard drugs, I had to go look for them. So when it came time to get rid of the hard drugs and eliminate that from my life, I just said, well, if I don't go looking and I can't find it, then I can't be, tempted, So I removed the temptation from me. Now, there were still people that I knew who did coke. And I got to say, there were only a few times in like 10 or 15 years that I'm like, hey, you want a bump? Wow, what the hell? And off I go. But very rarely, and many times I said, no, not really, because I'll just want more, which is the truth. So did I go absolutely cold turkey on the alcohol? It took me a year or two to. Now, I stopped getting drunk almost immediately, but I didn't stop drinking alcohol. Now, but if you were an alcoholic, didn't it make you drunk? No, I tried to just be a sipper. I'll buy one beer to everybody else's 6-pack, and I'm just going to nurse this some bit. I even went to near beer, and in my life, it was like, no, this ain't gonna work for you, Hawkeye. You got to give it up. Now, there's some brandy in the refrigerator, and I don't know, when we got first back from Florida, Breaking Dawn don't drink either, but we had a shot of brandy just to like celebrate, warm us up a little bit, but from an alcoholic standpoint, it's still in the refrigerator. We haven't had another drink since that little toast we had, and that was to toast us for making it there and back again and having very little, if any, problems. Yeah, that we finished the accomplishment. And hi, Cherry, how are you? Just Spitfire. Just Spitfire says, 4 wrong turns to the right or left and you'll be going in a circle. That's exactly why I said it the way I did, just Spitfire. You picked it up. Because if you keep turning right or left, you end up at the same place in the long run. So, yeah, it's not really, it's a square, but to the point, you circle back around. You're absolutely right. Just Spitfire, I promise, officer, I just had one drink, one right after another. Very good point. And that was sort of my motto. My motto was this: every day's a holiday. I mean, that was my motto. Every day's a holiday. Have a drink, And I would share my last one. I wasn't a greedy alcoholic, but to the point, I was an alcoholic. Ian says, I'm old enough to remember the days when politicians actually discussed policies. Me too, Ian. That was a ways back. You must be old like me. Just kidding. Just Spitfire says, yes, I understand. Remove myself. Sometimes it finds me. Literally knocks on my door. I get that. And I do understand that. And sometimes we have to become the compassionate observer and only participate enough to get us through the incident. Participate only enough to get you through the incident. For example, when I was in jail, I did whatever the boss man told me to do, but and at times I went a little beyond because I wanted him to see that I was doing a good job. But I also had my own self-respect. I knew that somebody said, go over there and mop up that floor. I wanted to mop it. It was supposed to be clean. It's a kitchen, for God's sakes, And so I've worked in kitchens before, and I knew the health department man. And even though it was the county jail, we still had to pass muster. So it's like, so I could do a good job. And where was I going? I'm still in the jail. I'm not getting out for a year. So might as well do a good job, because then the corporal over the detail doesn't ride my ass. He comes by and gives me a pat and goes, good job, Noel, take a cigarette break. Instead of, what's wrong with you stupid F? Keep working. No cigarette break for you. So which would you rather do? Do a really good job, which is within your own parameters and your own control. I didn't do anything that, well, there were a couple of times where I really didn't want to do what the man said, but I did him anyway because he's the man. But it was anything that was like to belittle me, if you will. They tried, but I just stood there and said, sorry, you can belittle me. It's just going to make you look small. And in the long run, that's what happened in an incident. Maybe I've shared it before in a video a year or so ago about the Officer Moffat, Corporal Moffat at the county jail, who busted me because I wouldn't get up in the middle of the night and empty the garbage when my job was working in the kitchen. And he knew that, and he wanted to bust me because I wouldn't give him enough food in the dining room. Oh, it was, but the other officers didn't like him either. So we set him up, and he set himself up, and he got booted out of the county jail. He got booted into one of the worst places in in Hillsborough County at the time. And so, and I actually gained respect from the other officers because I didn't lose my cool. He wanted me to get angry, and I didn't do it. He wanted me to overreact, and I refused. And while he was doing it, there was his sergeant standing right behind him, just a few feet away, while this officer belittled me, tried to get me to, and I was like, sorry, officer. And then I was asked to leave the room while you could hear them chew that mofo's ass out from 2 floors up and down. I'm talking about, you could hear those sergeants chew him royally. And they threw him out that night. They threw him out of the dining room. He didn't get to finish his supper. They suspended him from duty. Oh, I mean, did I get my revenge? I wasn't looking for it, but it happened, and it came back around. But I had to stay true to myself. In all of this, you got to stay true to yourself. And sometimes someone who may do you wrong, if you stay true to your path, call it revenge. I don't consider it revenge, because he had a choice. to not try to antagonize me, especially in front of his own workers. And he didn't know that the other officers respected me for who I was. So he thought they were on his side. Little did he know. So we got to be careful. Sometimes we have allies when we don't realize it. Sometimes when we respect ourselves and show it and prove it, other people notice and go, that guy's, he may be an officer, he may be one of us, but right now he ain't one of us. And I don't like his behavior. We don't like his behavior. Therefore, they threw his ass out of the jail and put him on suspension for 2 weeks. He never bothered me again. And he got out of the main jail, which I found out later on, they were literally trying to find a way to get him out of there. And I just happened to be the one. They didn't tell me that. I wasn't part of the plan, but indirectly and kind of subconsciously, I was. It all worked out for all of us. And, they made me team leader. I mean, the lieutenant, if you could have seen the lieutenant, he was a great big man, about 300 pounds, big fella, but he was about 6'6" too. But he came in there after they got rid of him and he said, no. Had a real deep, gravelly voice. No. And he really did talk like this. No, listen here, man. That was the greatest fucking thing I ever seen in my life, man. I heard it from the sergeant, man. But we're all talking about it downstairs, man. You, what a fucking job. Oh my God, that was the fucking greatest thing. We got rid of fucking Moffat. Oh my God, thank you. And I was like, you're welcome. You're welcome. Got rid of him for me too, but he was more of a pain in the ass to you guys than he was to me, but but to the point. So, but the idea though, did I have to change my colors? No. The more I stayed true to myself, even in prison, I still the righteousness of it came out. Now, does that happen every time? No, not every time was I righteous. I still got kicked, beat, and thrown in a cell. But at the same point, I bided my time. I kept my cool, and I learned from the experience, and I learned to be more respectful in how I look to the other person. In other words, I could go, yes, sir, boss. And I'm actually flipping him a bird with my face. So, but if I go, yes, sir, boss, with a pleasant face, he goes, well, he must really want to do this, Well, he's not arguing with me. I don't see his body language going, I was like, well, yes, sir. You need a volunteer? I'd raise my hand. No, we got stuff for you to do. Yeah, we're going to pick this guy. I would raise my hand whether they chose me or not. Why? Because I was volunteering as a prisoner to do something that was like, there was an infestation of cooties one time. Okay, they were lice. But a whole wing had to be like, we had the kerosene stuff. We had nitpickers, literally. We had stuff. It was horrendous. And they pulled many of us out of the trustees, out of the kitchen detail, because there weren't enough trustees on floor detail to handle with the extra mattresses. Everything had to be taken out and cleaned with kerosene and bleach. And oh my God. But I was like, I'll help. And they were like, what? You want to get around lice? Well, if I'm get to take a hot shower when I'm done and wash this crud off, I'm good. Besides, there were some of the guards who was like, who is it? He actually volunteered. Give this guy credit, so in their own mind, and I wasn't asking for anything. I just volunteered. So, but later on, if I had something I needed to ask, I would ask a guard and say, is there any chance that I could use the phone tonight? There's somebody busy, blah, blah, blah. Could I have a phone privilege? Well, if they were really pissed off, but when they learned to respect me for me, they'd say, well, it isn't really very busy. Go ahead. No. 10 minutes, though. 10 minutes. That's all. Yes, sir, boss man. And you go use the payphone. But to the point, and it didn't work every time, and with the same person every time. But the thing is this, though, you read the persons, you have enough self-respect that other people see it and they respect you, regardless of whether or not you're in prison or you're the guard. So the end result, I got off with less time. I got out. I got the most prestigious job in the jail and didn't have to bend over to do it. I made money, and that most folks don't do other than playing poker in jail, which I'm a lousy poker player in that respect. But the idea, though, that I actually came out better than I went in that I was off of drugs, I was clean, I had gained 20 pounds and I could lift some weight, buddy. Don't mess with me. And I was healthier, I was wiser, and I had gone through something that was so traumatic it could have ended my life, and it didn't. I made a choice. It wasn't necessarily cold turkey, but you understand what I mean by that. So, with that understanding, though, every single day is a choice we make. Every single moment in life, we have the opportunity to say yes or no, to get up off the couch and do something or not. I mean, I could have stayed downstairs last night and not picked up my guitar, but I went upstairs and got my guitar. And so I was like, well, I don't know. One of these days I'll pick it up. And Spirit was saying, which one of these days have you've already passed a bunch of those days several times way back? Well, one of these days I'll pick it up again. And when is that going to be? Why not try it right now? Well, I don't know. I'm sitting down here and I'm comfortable. But even for me, there are things like, well, maybe I could get up. Maybe I could put new strings on the guitar. Maybe I could get my fingers are sore, boy, howdy. I played for probably 2 hours. But the thing is like now I got to be a little more tender on playing because they're sore tender. But to the point though, I could have not done it. And the elation of feeling the music being played through my fingers again, the idea that it was me making the music, whether it was good or bad, not the point. It was the fact that I was choosing to make music. I was choosing to play a melody, So it's our choice of what we do. So it's like, okay, so now I throw the ball back into your court. And you don't have to answer. That's not the point of this, as you all well know. But was there a turn you missed today? Was there something that was just a little something that went by today and you said, later? I don't know. But that's up to you. But the thing is it may not have been today. It may be tomorrow. It could have been 3 weeks ago. But the thing is we can't worry about the times that we said, not now. So my discussion with self last night about, well, you're going to go get your guitar, yes or no? I know this is a silly subject, but for me, it wasn't, because I played music all the time. Was all the time doing puppet shows. I was all the time and being involved in theater. And all of that just stopped. Not because I wanted to, but because of head injuries and medicines and the crazy people at the hospitals and doctors' offices and the medicines they put me on. But so now I want to regain that. So it's like you took it away from me. They took it away from me. And I want it back. So you hear me say, I ain't dead yet. Well, I'm not. And even if I die tomorrow, I'm still going to stay the same. I still have the opportunity to make a different choice. And if you weigh it out with your heart, and if you weigh these little things out individually, and sometimes it doesn't take a lot of thought. You just go, is that one of those thoughts? And if you're connected with your spirit guide, you go, hey, is that one of them? Yeah, pay attention to that. Oh, maybe I shouldn't then go get my guitar. Or maybe I should stop and pick but whatever that little sign is for you. Now, there's lots of little signs that get dropped in my lap every day. Maybe you should go out and cut some firewood. Okay, but I'm still sore from the chainsaw stuff yesterday. But I still went outside and split some firewood. And when I get done doing this video, I'll go back out and split a couple more pieces for the fire tonight. But to the point, though, is like, so I didn't spend an hour cutting the firewood. So I spent 15 minutes and I cut what I could. So am I capable of doing what I used to? No. But I can still try. I can still split firewood. That's just my, example for the moment. But I can still split firewood. Can I spend an hour or two doing it? No. I used to be able to do it all day long and not break a sweat hardly. But so now it's more difficult. But do I give up? Oh, well, I just can't do that. No, I say, well, I'm going to go out and cut as much as I can. And if it's for only 10 minutes, fine. I accomplished it. I split firewood. Cheers. And and then I stopped to take a break to do this video with y'all. And so Breaking Dawn could make supper for herself and have something to eat. She did make something for me too, but I'm doing this video, so I don't want you to think she didn't make something for me too. Anyway, she's not my maid. Um, she's over here laughing. Um, but with that said, though, you have to look at your own life. Do you choose to give up or not? Do you choose to give in or not? In the overall grand scheme of things, are you giving into the greed? And so maybe you're a lot greedy right now with food. So then you become less greedy. And when you find that, wow, I didn't have to have two pieces of pie, that one actually was okay. I didn't get indigestion and I didn't need to take Tums, um, or Rolaids or whatever the thing is now. Now I have to drink a bottle of Metamucil to get rid of all the shit that I put in me. But anyway, fiber. But the idea, though, that we can make these decisions every time we come across something. So if you think, well, it's only the big stuff, it's not. It's cumulative. If you go out and kick the dog once every day for 10 years, that dog's going to know that mother's coming near me, going to kick me. And I'm going to bite his ass this time. So you ain't setting up a friend. So if you've got a bad behavior, but it's only a small one, yeah, but you keep doing it, it's cumulative. That dog don't forget, he's going to bite your ass because you kicked him for 10 years or whatever it is. But you get my point in that. So my friends, I need coffee and I need to get something to eat here. And, but I did want to come in here and discuss this particular subject because it is important. Always look for the long haul. Is my soul saved? Because whatever happens in this life, I can either add goodness to my soul or I can take away, or I can actually add some really goopy crap to it that's going to take forever to get rid of in other lives, in the spirit realm. I've contracted negative energy disease, NED, negative energy disease. Oh my God, I'm eat up with it. And there are times where certain situations, well, it tried to needle me sometimes. I even told Breaking Dawn earlier, I said, I know that I was hollering because of the chainsaw, but I also realized that there was something that was like trying to get at me to needle me. And I didn't, and it might have showed up in my voice. So I didn't want that to happen. So I made sure. I'm like, hey, if I sounded weird, I didn't explain why I am now, but to the point though, it was the inferences that I have to pay attention to what comes out my mouth. Did you hear that wrong? Because it kind of sounded a little wrong off to me, and I just want to make sure. Okay. And that's what we need to do to ourselves, to each other. We need to make sure that we're making the right point. Because if it's our tone of voice or our actions or our body language, and the other person's like, well, I can hear him say one thing, but I'm watching him, and holy shit, I don't know if I believe his ass, or I still can't trust, you know what I mean? So, my friends, Chloe, I see you hanging out in there. Just Spitfire. Stay warm, you two. Yep, we will. Upstairs is much warmer. But she's sitting over there by the heater. And tomorrow I ordered a new pot bellied stove that we're going to go pick up, and it might get hooked up tomorrow or the next day. Chloe says, "My Lord, I really think your divine self, your angel beings, our spiritual beings, whatever they are that you seek from the higher realms, when you have these talks, I feel like this is a direct talk." Thank you, Chloe. There are some times, and for me, my timing, it's like I listen to the spirits and they go, now. But I don't have coffee. Tough shit. Do it now. And then there are people in the chat who go, I really needed this. Okay, so am I listening to my higher self on your behalf? Maybe. Probably, I guess. But I'm listening to my higher self for whatever the reason that it needs to be done. For Chloe and other folks, I'm here to have this conversation. If there's, you know me by now, right? Hey, Cherry, how are you? Um, Chloe says, yes, it's definitely not a laughing matter or funny. I just can remember stuff like my own personal life. Oh, okay. I went. I needed to hear this way earlier in the beginning of my day, and you don't even know how significant and right on point this is for me today. You're welcome, Chloe, and thank you for showing up and getting the message. Because I don't know. I know they say there's a message that needs to be sent, but I don't know who it's for. Sometimes I got an idea, but no, they say do this. There's somebody that needs this message today, and ding, I'm the guy. I volunteered, right? But so, Chloe, I humbly say thank you because then it does mean that coming on here right now this evening so that you all could be a part of this was important. So, and the guys up here, my guys upstairs are laughing, going, "We told you, we told you," kiki in my shins. Uh, Chloe says, "This is like a revolution or miracle over here on my end. This is crazy to hear you say, but then again, connection not really crazy at all." Exactly. Just fit first as I would have carried him around in my pocket. Cell phone, ha ha ha. Maybe not like that, but that's funny and a cute idea because I can imagine this tiny little David that fits right in the palm of your hand. Yeah, but you got to make sure that you wipe me when I'm done eating or whatever. Just use your mat. I'm joking, but you know what I mean. Yes, for small words of wisdom. Yeah, Daily David DeVoe. Hawkeye. Yeah, Hawkeye, but I got you. Okay, I won't ignore the signs. I'll start listening. Yes, Chloe, if there's anything I can holler at you about that the spirits are saying, if you've had the signs and you're not paying attention, they're telling me right now, oh, please, Jesus, pay attention to the signs that are being showed to you. Yes, they're confirming that. I know I'm a procrastinator. I'm sorry I don't like that about myself. Me neither about myself, but to the point. Ian, Chloe, it's like David says, the League of Like-Minded People. Yes, actually, the League of Like-Minded Beings. A slight correction there. It is all of us people, but there are a lot of other beings. So, but absolutely. Thank you for sharing, says Chloe, and spending your time and energy with. Go take care of yourself. And Miss Breaking Dawn, you guys have a great night. Thank you, Chloe. Chloe says, I'm going to beat y'all up if you go outside and kick the dog every day. I agree. But I've known somebody that would literally do that. And then they want to know why the dog, well, I don't know why that damn dog wants to bite me. And then they kick at him again. It's like, duh. Uh, um, okay, coming down. Thank you, higher realm and the divine spirit, for speaking directly to my soul today and the rest of the group as well. I extend my gratitude. You're welcome, and they say you're welcome as well. Jody, good to see you. Chloe, let's see, coming down. Just Spitfire says, "Is that eyes behind him? Not Don, I hope." No, these eyes. This is one of my many puppet stuffed animals and things, and this one belonged to a child, and they didn't really want to give it up. It's got a bad spot right there, but I've got several stuffed animals that have child energy, and child energy is very powerful, strong. And so I don't know who the child was. This was in a box of stuff. But then again, I never know when a child may show up or come or something that I may need to say, you know what? You need this little dog to sit by you, and it needs a hug, and it wants to give you a hug, you know. And so this little puppy's literally been sitting up here on the back of my chair for a lot longer. Now, that might not be the eyes you're talking about, but anyway, so if you see eyeballs, there's my little four-legged. I don't have a live one at the moment, but while those eyes are not really eyes that I see, what you're talking about, the kind of freaky. Yeah, there's some entities that travel around here. And I think it was last night, something went right across the screen and somebody said they saw it. But to the point though, yeah, there's a lot of high energy around here. There are, this property is not directly in between two um, cemeteries, but it's really close. So there are a lot of spirit entities around here. There are a lot of Native American spirit entities around here. There's a chief that's buried, or a very highly respected brave at the time, buried at the top of the hill up here. We've seen signs. We dug up, well, my neighbor dug up over 250 spear points. I mean, some of these spear points were literally like 2 foot long, um, um, made out of flint. And that's not easy to do, to find a piece of flint for a big spearhead. They were all buried in one location at the edge of my property line, near where supposedly a very prominent Native American leader, brave, male, I think it was a male. We've done some meditating on the subject, and he was a warrior and was murdered around here way back in the day. And if it weren't for the fact that my neighbor literally dug up all those arrowheads and everything, we wouldn't have known that this being was sitting at the top of my driveway. Thankfully, he's on my property, just over the property line. It's kind of weird in that respect. But so, and why was that important? I'm not quite sure. But anyway, there are lots of things in this realm. Oh, spirits and things and guides and so forth. So when you stay connected to your own self, when you, and you know, I'm ad infinitum, I'm repeating this, get connected with your spirit guide. Make sure, you know, they will test you. And Chloe, it may be that the signs that they're showing you is a test for you to get a better connection with your own spirit guide. Take that into consideration. That it's not necessarily procrastination on your part, but maybe you're unsure. Well, I don't know. I saw that, but I don't know if I should do it. Maybe your spirit guide's going, will you please listen for once? I'm just saying, maybe that's what they're trying to get across to you, because they screamed at me for years and showed me all kinds of stuff. And I just didn't pay any attention. Now it's like, what? What was that? Okay, maybe I pay too much attention now. But the thing is for Chloe, hi, Michelle. Much love, David, and everyone here. Blessings to you, Michelle, always. Just Spitfire. I'm looking for James Adair's book written in 1775 about his life living with natives here in the North Georgia, Adair. Right, Just Spitfire. You're up there around Adairsville. Oh, right. I got it. I remembered. Was named after him. Once called, I can't read that, Othakalago village, until white men took over. Yeah, them damn white men. I tell you what, I would sometimes I would love to change sexes, because men are such dickheads. I don't know how else to put it. And sometimes I would, oh man, I don't want to be a white person either, because they just don't get it. What Native Americans, Native peoples, not just Americans, but Native peoples across the planet, what they understanding. Blessings back. Yes, thank you so much. And thank you, Chloe. But so if you think that you're getting signs by the spirits and you're not acting on them, just stop for a second and scratch your head and go, why am I not acting on this? Is it because I don't have enough faith in myself? Do I not have enough confidence? Is there something lacking that I don't pursue? Is it just, for me, I just say, I think I'm just being lazy, period. That's the answer. But in order to be truthful, I've made up excuses. But if I'm truthful with myself, which you should be, oh crap, I'm just being freaking lazy. That's it. Procrastination, maybe. But the bottom line, well, I see it. I don't want to act on it. I end up for myself, I'm being lazy. So, and then they kick me in the shins some more and go ahead, be lazy. We'll keep kicking you. We can kick you from this side from now until doomsday, you know. And I realized that kick me once, kick me twice. Okay, I get it, for gosh sakes. I'll do it, you know. That's a spiritual kick, but my left ankle does kind of take a beating on occasions. Yeah, they're threatening to kick me now, just for the hell of it. Like, hey, you think we kick you hard now? Watch this. But anyway, I'm joking, but not. You should hear this other side of the conversation. But anyway, these folks are great. So when you tune into your own self, when you follow up. Now, here's the thing: do you have to jump up every second? Not necessarily. We get to choose which times are more important. But if Spirit has given us signs and we're not acting on them, well, that one, we should at least write them down, or we should at least put them in a category. You know, that thing that just happened, or whatever it may be, is special. And I want to remember that. So I'm going to write it down. And I may forget it. I've written stuff down in books down here that over the years, and I look back and I go, wow, this is pretty damn profound. I wrote this shit. Seriously? You know, sometimes it's with automatic writing that I will just, you know, Spirit says, we got a message for you. Write this down. Grab a pen and paper, you know. And so I've learned to put it in these little, you know, I've showed you these before, but to the point, get yourself a couple of these composition books and name them different things. You know, some of them is just dreams and thoughts. Okay. Then you can have one for like waking dreams or something, and write your stuff down. You may seem meaningless right now, but later on you can go back in and go, holy crap, they sent me this mess. Always put the date on it. That's what I've done, because I've written stuff and I go, when did I write this? I don't know. So now anything I write down, I put the first thing I write down is the date and the year, the whole date. And say, okay, and this is what I wrote today. Now, I don't have to give any explanation about what I wrote unless it's necessary, but I give the date. So when I go back and go, crap, in January of last year, I wrote this whole 2 pages of stuff about, oh, holy crap, did I ever talk about this? Son of a bitch, there's some important information in here. You know, so I have to go back through my own stuff, because will move me to write things down, and then life happens and I forget, you know, and then I'm getting old and some of this senility is kicking in. But actually, no, the more that I try to use my brain, the more I have, you know, I had a thought like that. I think I wrote it down somewhere. And so then I go look in my little books and I go, oh, well, this isn't exactly what I was thinking. Oh, son of a gun. Well, I did write something like this. It was 5 years ago. Whoa. You know, so it surprises me. And that's why when I say, you know, everything is recorded in your subconscious, it is. All we have to do is be able to find those keys to get that information back on track or whatever it may be. Hi, my Sky. Good to see you. Just Spitfire says they are mad at this city. I think they are. I think the reoccurring tornadoes we have every few years are being sent by the natives. And it could be of a higher source than that, just Spitfire. Mother Nature's had enough of these buttholes. Just saying. My neighbor's place has been nailed twice. I've had, last year, a tornado went over the house. I mean, tore down trees and everything, but tore down my neighbor's shed. I've lived here almost 40 years, and his shed has gotten demolished twice by tornadoes since I've lived here, and it's gone right over the house both times. Now, they weren't picking on me, but were they picking on his ass? I just wonder. And they put another one up in the same spot. I'm just saying, maybe, did you guys maybe should have moved it around the side of the hill or something? But nope, they put it back right in the same spot. So, but there was a murder that took place on that property. And so there's just some interesting energies connected with maybe why that barn keeps getting tore down. I don't know. But from my point of view, 2 times a tornado went over the house. 2 times they got destroyed. 2 times I've been safe. Now, knock on wood, if it ever happens again, that I have the same luck, if you will. So my friends, I love you. I do. I hope that this, Chloe, I hope that this makes sense to you. Just Spitfire, all of you, all y'all out there, if you can't act on something Spirit shows you right now, put it down for, I need, they show you things for a reason. And maybe now is not the time you need to act on it, but now is the time you need to write it down or to put it in a memory and go, I need to think about this. They sent me this, whatever it is, and they wouldn't have sent it if it didn't mean something. And it may not mean something right now. There are times when I don't know. I write down topics. Like I wrote this topic down yesterday, okay, and planned this video and was going to do it later. And then I got kicked because they said Chloe needed some information. I didn't know it was Chloe, but they said, you got to do this now, Dave. Okay, Hawkeye, turn on the computer. So Chloe says, I know what I'm supposed to do. I just ain't doing it. Yes, take the leap, Chloe. Leap. Chloe, sometimes it's a baby step. It's not a leap. Sometimes it's just a step in the right direction. Sometimes it's just leaning in that direction. Sometimes that's enough to get you going in that direction. But if you stand still, they ain't going nowhere, except maybe down to sit down. You know what I'm saying? So, Chloe, don't think of it as a leap. Think of it as a step. Because leaping involves, oh, holy crap, great heights. Now, we can step close to the water, but we don't have to necessarily leap in. We can wade in. So, and the spirits are telling me to tell you this. Leaping requires a crap load of faith. So if you're trying to work on your faith, then maybe a step in the direction will help you get the faith to take the leap. Does that make sense? You have to at least start in the direction. Saying if for whatever it is, well, I'm going to go over, I got a window over here that I need to wash, for example. Okay. And I keep looking at it and going, one of these days I'm going to wash that frickin' window. So why don't I get up right now? Well, I'm talking to you folks, but why don't I get right up right now? I got paper towels right here, and I got cleaner over here about 3 steps away. Why don't I clean a frickin' window? I don't know, because I keep putting it off. Is it because I'm lazy? I don't want to do it right now. But sometimes getting up and cleaning the window allows us to see outside. What? It allows us to see more clearly. So in my case, if I clean the window, more sunshine is going to come in and warm up the house during the day. So if I leave my windows dirty and the house don't warm up during the daytime, then it's my own freaking fault for not cleaning the windows. So I'm sitting here cold with the heater on because I didn't bother to wash the windows today. Whose fault is it? Is it anybody's? We were going to light a fire anyway, but that's not the point. I could have got up at any point in the last 2 months and cleaned the window. It's still not clean. So as I'm talking about this, I was getting onto myself earlier. I went out to split firewood is the reason I actually didn't clean the window at that moment. But to the point, though, there's been lots of other opportunities. So sometimes the opportunity may swing back by and we go, not now. And there, it may be that right not now is the appropriate answer. But maybe you keep forgetting to go back and doing it, like me in the window. I know it's a silly analogy, but if the window ain't clean, I can't see out, the sunshine don't come in, And in a way, it's a perfect analogy. Because if you don't at least pick up the rag and the stuff to clean the window, if I don't at least lean towards it and want to work on it, then I'm not going to do any of it. I'm just going to sit here and go, well, somebody really ought to clean that window over there. But if I do it, I reap the benefits because the sun's going to come in and warm the house more. And the house is going to warm up instead of being cold in the day. And then blah, blah, blah. So for those people who would choose not to act on certain things spiritually, that if you know that, wow, I think that was a message. If you understand that much, oh, holy crap. There are people who go, well, I don't know what that was about. We may say, maybe that was a message from the angels. I don't believe that shit. Well, never mind. But for those of us to go, wait a minute, I think there might have been a message in there. Then we need to go back and revisit it. If it's 2 weeks, 2 years, whatever, or maybe even 2 lifetimes, who knows? But with soul contracts in our spirits, understanding that we have the choice to do better tomorrow, when I get done doing this video, I think I'm going to wash the freaking window because now I'm so pissed off at myself for not having got up and washed the window. But to the point though, but hang on, maybe these things are important. And if we've noticed that maybe they're important, oh, holy crap, maybe they really are. So the first thing we need to do is not beat ourselves up. Well, crap, I haven't washed the window yet. Well, using negative energy to beat yourself up because you haven't done the thing that you maybe should have done. Beating yourself up is just useless. Okay. You can say, crap, I've had all these opportunities to do it and I didn't. What have you learned from that? I'm going to get up and do it now. That's what I've learned. Or at least I'm going to write it down and say, you know what, tomorrow. Right now it's dark outside. It's really cold. Washing the window. I'm going to wait until tomorrow when the sun's up. And then I'm going to wash that damn window because I promised myself 2 months ago I was going to do it. And I've decided that tomorrow, regardless, I'm going to wash that window first and then split firewood. Or then I'm going to do something. It's going to take me 3 minutes to wash the window. That's the first thing on my agenda. So in the spirit realm, if it's something's coming in, the first thing we can do is go, I think that was a spirit message. So now, where before I did nothing, I'm now going to at least write it down. Today on 13th of November, 2019, I had this really weird thought and it was blah, 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 blah. And I think it was a spirit message. And I'm writing this down because I want to make a log. And then close the book. It might be just that. But the thing is that then you've now established a more concrete, what'd you say? Connection. Thank you. Breaking Dawn is listening over there. We pick on each other like that all the time. Not all the time, but anyway. But yes, connection. So, they're sending you messages, text messages, but you've been ignoring them. No, not you, but in the sense that if spirit is sending you messages and you don't write them down or do anything or hit reply or nothing, you just, well, there's an interesting message. But when you say, okay, thank you to the universe, thank you for the message, I wrote it down in my own little book here. So then the universe says, aha, now they're starting to listen and pay attention. Now I can send them some more information. Now I can give explanations to maybe some of this stuff that they don't get. But if I'm not going to listen or pay any attention, then why should they send more information? Because you're not going to listen. So for myself, when I realized, oh, holy crap, I was listening and watching and seeing, but I wasn't doing anything about this stuff. And as soon as I started to participate with my own spiritual being, the connection got stronger. The information was it hasn't been wrong yet. The only thing that has been different, and they're saying, is time. They'll say, well, coming up, there's going to be something happen. When? In time. Well, short time, long time. In time. But in time. So there are things that both Breaking Dawn and myself have seen that has not occurred yet. Now, does it mean that it ain't? I don't know. But we both, in our own ways, keep getting information that it isn't time yet. But yet the event's still coming. Okay. But we don't know when, time, date, etc. We get messages and warnings. Whoop, lava's moving under the planet. Whoop, bunch of 5.5 earthquakes happening. Whoop, bunch of stuff going on. Earth is moving and stuff like that. So we pay attention to the signs. We note them in our little book up here, and sometimes I write them down because they are that freaking important. Or I do a video on a subject, which is sort of my way of writing it down. They sent me this message yesterday. Let's have this conversation. Now I share it with you. So this is sort of my writing in the ledger, if you will, by doing this video. All right, my friends, just fit for you folks are great. Keep up the good work. And I saw that remark. Aye, Captain. I don't know if that was meant for me or not, but salute, salutations. And Chloe, you are so welcome. I am very humbled by the fact that I have to sometimes sit on a subject so that I can understand it more myself before I can discuss it with anybody else. But then sometimes, like tonight, they said, go. And I was like, yeah, but I usually do a little go. But, so I didn't argue. I hit the button and here I am. But with that said, though, I am very humbled to be your humble servant, to be able to bring these discussions to you so that we may have these discussions so you can have with the discussion with your own self, with your own spirit guide, and make these connections stronger. 5D, my sky's 5D. How are you? Chloe says, I need to have more faith in myself. I have plenty of faith in divine and what will be, and what is just putting that in my brain sometimes is a problem I'm still working on. My sky, I've never been asked to dance before, but once in my entire life. Chloe, honey, let's dance. I'm just saying, if nobody's ever asked you to dance, goodness gracious me. And I see everybody else is ready to jump. Hi there, Millie Cow. Ween. Let's everybody holler ween. It's actually not Halloween day, but thank you, Millie Cow. That's beautiful. Chloe, will you help me warm up with a dance? Oh, I see. I went back too far. Just Fitfire says, I did that with getting the manual out of my car. Kept putting it off. Finally, I did and found my car on fire. Somebody lit the fire under my butt. Thank goodness. We never know. But there you go. My skies, well, I'm here to ask. Now let's dance. Okay, gotcha. My sky says, just know, Chloe, that you're not going through any of this alone. It's been this way for all of us. Absolutely. I've discussed my life and how these things have affected me. And so it's only through my story that you can try to see how that may fit in your life. But we're all going through this. Ain't none of us getting out of this, lesson business. Michelle says, I love your what? They pick me to have these crazy thoughts and pass them along to you. Because maybe there ain't nobody crazy enough to talk like that, to have these conversations. So in humbleness, I'm always saying thank you to the creator and thank you to the divine and thank you to the universe and thank you to my spirit guides and thank you to all of you, because otherwise I'd just be talking to myself and I don't have to do that on video. I could go outside and do it. But anyway, geniuses tend to procrastinate, says Michelle. Chloe says, each and every one of you are so beautiful as spirit beings and within the character of soul. You're welcome. And so are you. And understand that. Have that faith, Chloe. And remember, I know you say this further down, baby steps are fine, but standing still is not necessarily an option. Because if you stand still long enough, you have a tendency to fall backwards. So, but any step forward is progress in the right direction. So it isn't how big the steps are. That's my point. Set tiny little goals. I'm going to smoke one less cigarette today than yesterday. Tomorrow I'm going to smoke two less cigarettes. And I'm just going to hold it there. But I'm going to make the promise that if I pick up a cigarette and start to light it, I'm going to go, not now, and put it down. That you have to start someplace. Doesn't mean you're giving them up, but you made a choice on at least one cigarette. And how proud of that you can be. I said no to a cigarette. I said no to my addiction. That's power. That is what we all need. Is tiny little things. Sometimes great big things in our lives help out too, but tiny little things every day like, well, that was a positive. Well, that was a positive. Oh, I had 4 or 5 tires, but hey, I met this really nice guy at the garage. Who knows? Going on down. Just Spitfire. Okay. My Sky says I procrastinate like an Einstein. Yep. Thanks for the dance, My Sky, Chloe. Listen, we're all in this spiritual dance. We truly are. And none of us are alone in this. We may think we're alone, but we're not. So just remember that we're not alone in this matter. We're all in this big cosmic boat together trying to figure it out. He just cut out on my end. I heard nothing. Ups. Chloe says, I'm not going to disobey. I don't know why I do that, but I always listen. Just takes me a while sometimes. The thing is that we don't give up. And there are times when I have to okay, am I procrastinating or am I being lazy? And when I say I'm being lazy, well, do I have a reason to be? Well, I worked my tail off. We cut firewood yesterday and my back really hurts. My shoulder's sore from hanging onto the chainsaw. I may have a reason to be slightly lazy today. But does it give me the right to take the whole day off? No. I'm going to be cold if I don't go split some firewood. So no, but that's just normal chores every day kind of stuff. So, but anyway, yeah, says Chloe, look, you're helping me motivate me and you're also helping you motivate you by helping me. Exactly. Any teacher who doesn't learn from their students, anyway, I need to learn how to hack myself and I know it's hard. Okay, Chloe, that part right there. When you convince yourself, you say, I know it's hard. That's where you need to stop. Because you're convinced yourself that it's too hard. That's not true. Something about it is difficult, but you just haven't learned how to go over the difficult part. But if you convince yourself that it's so damn difficult, it's so hard, then you've got a mindset that's in your subconscious you can't walk out of. You're stuck in mud up to your waist and you ain't getting out because you say, I can't, I'm stuck in the mud. It's so hard. You hear what I'm saying? Convince yourself, you know what? Change the word hard. You know what? Maybe change the phrase to maybe like something like, you know what? This is some really tricky stuff. This is some stuff I've never encountered before. It's difficult, but I will learn it. So is math. But if I want to add 2 and 2 together, I'm going to learn math. It may seem difficult. But it's not so hard, I can't do it. You understand the difference? We convince ourselves that we just can't do it because it's so hard. Just change that phrase. That will help you right there. Because when you realize, maybe it's not as hard as I think. Maybe I'm making a mountain out of a molehill. Maybe if I just work at it a little bit around the edges, baby steps, it won't be so damned hard. Hmm. But if you convince yourself every single time that it is hard, welcome to the world. It's going to be hard. Um, Millie Cow says, sometimes I can detach from how hard I think something is, and suddenly it becomes a little easier. Very, very true. And all I did was let go of that perspective. Absolutely. I've talked about this perspective thing before. So if you convince yourself it's too tough, you're gonna drown. If you convince yourself it's just water, then you can swim. Um, Let me go back up here a little bit. To read the rest of your sentence, Chloe, I don't know. I don't know what it is. There's something I'm still not catching on to, and why. Because you've convinced yourself, your subconscious, you got to fix that first. It's not really hard. It's just a different type of task. It's more difficult. So you say, okay, what part of this don't I understand? Pick, like dieting, pick one thing at a time. You don't pick drinking and smoking. You pick drinking or smoking. You work on one at a time in separate venues with yourself. But you first thing is that you convince yourself, you know what? I can do this. It may take a little time, but I can do this. And the backup is why. You always hear me say why. I can do this. Why? Because I choose to. I've had enough of this. I don't want to be an alcoholic anymore. I don't want to be a drug addict anymore. Because I choose to. Whatever it is. So you say, well, is it going to be hard? Well, getting off alcohol was kind of difficult for me. But at the same point, I realized, but I still want to do it. I didn't give up. Bob, we love you. I don't have any coffee to offer you, but there's a lot of lagging going on. Just fit far. I think we're alone now. Was a song I think Tiffany sang it after the Beatles. The Beatles didn't actually sing that. It wasn't a Beatles song. Just Spitfire. I think we're alone. I think it was Tommy James and the Shondells actually. But it wasn't the Beatles. They didn't sing that. I think we're alone now. It was one of those bubblegum bands that sang that. I'm from that generation. Doesn't seem to be anyone around. I think we're alone now. Da 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 bum bum dum dum dum. Bubblegum music. Um, Millie Cow, you're right. He says how easy or hard something is a trick of the mind. Now there can be something that's really freaking difficult, and it is difficult. And if we convince ourselves that it's too easy, we can kill ourselves. So we have to be wary of both sides of this. Oh well, there's Mount Everest. Well, I'm not afraid of anything. I'll climb it. Are you prepared? Do you have the means to do so? Well, I'm divinely inspired. Yeah, but does that mean you can climb Mount Everest without a parka and snowshoes? You'd have to be prepared for some of these things, and you have to take baby steps. But can you tackle Mount Everest? Sure, with the right planning and gear and training, absolutely. So before you say, "Well, I can do that," you can at least say, "You know what? I'm capable of doing that," or I believe that I have enough knowledge and gumption. If I don't know how to do something, I'm going to figure it out. So you can be positive about that. Do I know the answer? No. Is that a negative? No. If you mull on it all the time, I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. I don't know the answer. I don't know the negative. If you say, the answer, I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm still trying to figure out the answer. And it hasn't come to me yet, but I'm still trying to figure out. So you leave it open. But if you say, I don't get it, I can't, I don't, that sets up a negative vibration that if the information was there, it's being filtered by the negative energies and you're not getting it. It could be right dead in front of you. Like when I finally stopped drinking, I went, oh, holy crap. Took me a few months after that, but I had a holy crap moment just by not having alcohol in my system. None. And so, but that was me. But it is a trick of the mind, but sometimes things really are difficult. We don't need to trick ourselves the opposite way, go, this is a piece of cake. When actually it may really, we need to pay attention. So that works both ways. But I agree with you, Millie Cow, in that it is our perception of what it looks like. You know, when you're halfway up the mountain, the top ain't so far. You know what I mean? Chloe says, I know that song, that Tiffany, I believe, the cassette tape. Oh, she might have sang it. I don't know who Tiffany is. So, but I'm going back to the 1960s version. Chloe, Ween, I love it. Hi, Ian, back again, everybody. Oh, fresh farm fresh whole milk. Oh man, it's worth the price. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, we used to have dairies around here. Chloe says it's also where they're talking about writing it down because I've done that for years on my own. And at this point, I've stopped doing it for exactly 1 year. And I've noticed that the last 2 or 3 days, I began to start writing again, but it's not the way I used to. I'll get like 2 or 3 or 4 sentences and then just kind of stopping, leaving it sitting there. I do that too. A lot of us do that. Sometimes it's only in that paragraph of what we wrote down is the message. I'm sure Bod would love it. Yeah. Really got to get going, guys. This town shuts down at 11. Bye, Spitfire. Sir Edmund Hillary climbed it in a tweed jacket and a pair of brogues. Yeah. Crazy people. All right. Thank you for teaching me. I don't got to go leap 100 foot. Absolutely. You know, and if you're going to leap, maybe you should have a bungee cord around you just in case. Just saying. My friends, I love you. I didn't think this was going to be a 30-minute video, and it's been an hour and 48 minutes. I love you all. I do. Thank you so much for your participation in the grand scheme of things. You know, we are like-minded beings. We are the league of like-minded beings. Yeah, humans too. I'm teasing in there, but to the point, yes, we all are of like-minded beings. And in that, we have that in common. And in that, we have strength. And in that, we are winning the war around the edges. Because sometimes when stuff is so nasty, can we fix everything on the planet all at one time? Nope. Baby steps. So we need to understand that. Do we want to change things right away? Oh, hell yeah. But sometimes baby steps. So when you have doubt about whether or not you can do it or not, remember, sometimes baby steps. That's it. And be honest with yourself. Am I being freaking lazy? Or is it that I just don't understand or have enough faith in myself that I can actually do this? Ask for guidance. If you see they've sent you a message, then ask them for help to understand it. But listen, you got to pay attention. Because if you've been sort of ignoring things up to this point, then they could send you a clear message and you're not going to see it. So by acknowledging, well, I got your message. Don't know what it means, but I got it. Help explain this to me. Help me to understand. And it's not that you praying to God, you're asking the universe to just clarify something that you received. So my friends, Chloe, keep up the good work. Don't quit, you know. Truth for me. Hi there. There's only one thing I've ever wanted to give up, and I tried to do right. And before I hit rock bottom, I just told myself, one thing I've learned about myself, I'm not going to be able, it's actually give up. I can't give up. I don't have a choice. I mean, I do have a choice, but is that I don't fail. I don't have the option to fail. Sometimes failure is part of the lesson. I don't mean like total failure, but I mean sometimes you can't learn a lesson if you always succeed. How are you going to know when there's how to deal with odd crap in the universe? If odd crap doesn't come your way, then you don't know how to deal with it. But like for me, I deal with odd crap all the time. So, I'm constantly dealing with it. But if nobody understands it or people ignore it, then how can they understand it? You know what I mean? So first we have to just stop and be that compassionate observer and go, okay, I just got what seems like a message. I'm going to write it down and I'm just going to ask the universe, help me to understand this, please. You ask your spirit guide. I don't know mine by name, but he's SG1. He's Spirit Guide 1. So his designation, he's laughing about that. We came upon that today. But the idea is, though, that trust yourself. Trust your own spirit guide. Listen to that one source. And if it seems foggy, flaky, maybe you got the wrong one. But in the sense that and you can ask them, for example, did you send me this message? If you're new at this, and the answer, well, not me. I don't know where you got that shit from. Well, then you can still say, well, I got this message from someplace. Will you help me to understand it? You can still ask your spirit guide. She might not have sent it, but they can still help you to interpret it or help you to understand. But it's your spirit guide that's going to give you the truth every time. Another entity, not so much. You call upon Michael, there's probably a million beings out there. I call upon the energy of St. Michael or something. And there's a guy over there in the corner going, oh, I got this. Michael's busy. Stop it. And so there are lesser entities that are like waiting. Oh, I'm Michael. I've seen some of these folks who post that they've had conversations with, Archangel Michael, all this stuff. And I listen to myself and go, now, me and my spirit guide, we're tight. When something's absolutely wrong, I get a Mother Mary message. I get an essence that says, wrong. And so I listen to these folks, and they're supposed to be channeling the Archangel Michael, and he's telling them all this stuff, or Gabriel, oh my God, the two favorites, and all this stuff, and I'm listening, and I'm going, maybe that's what he's saying, but my filter is never been wrong, and they're not confirming what you're saying. Now, I could be an asshole troll and go into the chat room and go, you're a freaking liar. You ain't talking to Michael. That's stupid. But I don't. Because there may be a message in there that even the person that's saying it don't get it. But to the part of this, Archangel Michael's got lots of better stuff to do. When I get a Mother Mary message, it comes through my spirit guide. She sends an email with her essence on it. I know it's from her. But can I sit down and talk to Mother Mary all the time? No, she's busy, along with all these other heavy duty entities. So people who keep dragging them, do you not think they have better things to do than to stop and talk to your silly ass? I mean, I'm just asking. There's a war going on in space in the different realms, and they're trying to call a 4-star general in to have a little chat. Come on, General MacArthur, let's sit down and have a chat. I'm Umpty Scrunch, and I called you, and because you're an angel or whatever, you have to come at my bidding. And I just want to look at some of these people and just literally jap slap them a few times ago. Do you not understand respect in the universe? Do you have respect for higher beings at all? You and then you're going to do this interpretation when I'm thinking that's not. I don't want to get into that, but that shit sounds like he made it up. I'm just saying to try to get clickbaits and so forth. And I ain't. You all know I ain't into that. But I will be the grown up in the room and go, listen. You want to talk to somebody? Talk to your spirit guide. Don't go calling on Michael. Now, you can call upon the grace of Michael or the grace because that's the essence of them. You can call upon their residual energies, but to call upon the entity and all these millions of people are calling the same one, you think they really got time for this shit? No, they don't. They're busy. Give them a break for God's sakes. you know but contact your spirit guide because they got good info, they got the stuff, they got the healing and the power too. It ain't just the archangels and stuff, but the biggest thing is the lack of respect that people who call upon these entities. I'm sorry, but who the f are you to say that you claim you're talking to Archangel Gabriel? I'm sorry, but I'm listening, but I ain't hearing what you're saying because it's not true to me. It doesn't resonate. So these people are talking about all this stuff. Are they really channeling Gabriel? Are they really channeling Michael? Or are they channeling an entity that they are convinced is them? Aha! Deception on so many levels. When you talk to your spirit guide, there is no deception. Never, ever, never, ever, never. If your spirit guide deceives you, it ain't your spirit guide. Just a warning. um, Ian says, we didn't come this far to just come this far. That's absolutely right. You get 100 yards from the top of whatever mountain you're climbing, and you say, well, I got close. I'm going back. I don't know. I'm going to crawl up to the top and at least touch it with my hand and go, I made it. And then I'll slide back down. Might not stand up there and have a party, but yeah. Chloe says, the beating of my heart is the only sound. I think we're alone now. Yep, yep, yep. You're still on with the song, right? I got it. Um, I swear, Tommy James and the Shondells is what keeps popping through my mind is who sang that song originally. Um, there's another one that they did that was similar in the tune, but I can't think of it right now. Ian says, I can't take the credit. A friend told me that one, but it's great to pass it on. Millie Cow, Truth in Me, have you looked up in the spiritual significance of raccoons and elk? Maybe you can learn something from what you saw. Power animals. Um, and I'm going to do something for you, even though you didn't ask. I've got a book, medicine cards about animals, and one of them is raccoons. Raccoons have a very specific. They got some powerful info. Also, elk. So, and if you don't mind, I'm going to read. You didn't ask, I know, but I'm going to read about because it was brought up. Where are these? Yeah, put your glasses on. I really can't see those words. They're really small, or my eyes are just getting small. All right, I'm looking for the. Okay, elk is the third on the list, page 49. And otter moves. I'll be dog. This one don't have raccoon. Raccoon's in the other book. Interesting. No raccoon. Hmm. All right. Let me give you 10 cents on the elk though. Since I'm here, elk wandered around through the forest looking for a partner. The mating season was in full swing, and the bucks that usually traveled with the other males had dispersed to find mates for the season. As elk bellowed his mating call through the forest, his bugling alerted mountain lion that a feast could be in the making. Mountain lion circled elk, getting closer to his prey. Moment by moment, elk sensed the impending danger when the forest suddenly grew quiet. He broke for the high country when he spotted his pursuer, but mountain lion was far behind. As elk made a running leap for the timberline, there's leap for you. Mountain lion gained on him, but elk continued to run onward, displaying tremendous stamina. Finally, mountain lion gave up, having spent his energy in spurts as he tried to jump over boulders to reach elk. Elk paced himself, making headway as he climbed skyward toward the high country. Elk had no other defense except his ability to go the distance. What are we just talking about? Having the energy to go the distance, to look at the big picture. Does this relate? See, they were tapping me saying, pick up your book and read this. Elk had no other defense except his ability to go the distance, setting a pace that allowed him to utilize his stamina and energy to the fullest. Elk medicine teaches that pacing yourself will increase your stamina. Baby steps. Elk medicine people may not be the first ones to arrive at a goal. Pay attention. They may not be the first persons to arrive at a goal, but they always arrive without getting burned out. If you have taken on too much recently, it may be a good idea to look at how you plan to finish what you have started without ending up in the hospital. In other words, maybe a baby step is better than leaping off the cliff. Elk have a curious kind of warrior energy because, except at mating time, they honor the company of their own gender. They can call on the medicine of brotherhood or sisterhood. In discovering the strength which is gained from loving the gender that is your own, you will feel the comradeship that arises from similarity of experience. This is a special medicine that allows the friendship of others of your same sex to overcome competition or jealousy. If you have picked elk medicine, you may be telling yourself to seek the company of your own gender for a while. You may need a support group to realign yourself with the stamina of the warrioress energy that you are a part of. This communication with others of your own sex allows you to air your feelings in safety and to get feedback from others who have had the same experience. You may need a new sense of community, communication in unity. Now, in my opinion, the fact that you're participating in this conversation in the chat room and so forth may be not necessarily the sex part of, that you need beings, like-minded beings, to be able to express how you feel. So, but also it may mean that too, as far as you may need to be around others of like mind. Is that sex of like mind? Anymore, you can't tell. I don't know. Anyway. But to the point, though, what we do need is to seek others for communication, and that's what we're doing now. So, elk medicine, stamina. Does elk kind of fit in with the topic for this discussion? Actually, it does, because in the long run, regardless of the outcome, we still choose to maintain. We will hold our stamina within our souls and keep our spirits intact as much as we can from being attacked. But that we keep our eye on the long distance prize, our stamina, our spirit. Baby steps will get you there. When you think about the tortoise and the hare, the rabbit ran ahead, then he rested, then the rabbit ran ahead and he rested, and the little old turtle just kept chugging along, beat the rabbit. So the story says. My friends, I do have a butt cramp, and I do need something to drink, and I do want to have something to eat, and I do want to move around a little bit, and I do need to cut some more firewood and stoke the fire. And so, but it has been 2 hours, and you all have been absolutely lovely. Chloe says, and you're saying just now that it's sometimes within the paragraph that the message is there. It's made me realize that I'm way too hard on myself and I expect way too much out of myself. Chloe, I did a video months ago, but about expectation. And so we think I used like going on a vacation. You see the picture in the book and you say, wow, that's really a fabulous place. And you get there and it's really shitty, but the picture was great and had great reviews. And so you went with high expectations and it ain't nothing what you thought. So we have to like keep our expectations in check. In a lot of ways, expecting too much out of ourselves, expecting, well, they're going to explain this shit to me right now. Maybe not. So, but when we throw in our own, what we expect out of something, that's when you need to take that step backwards and become that compassionate observer. Because if we expect too much, we're affecting what's coming in, maybe negatively because we expect too much. And actually, it may be only just like a little warning. Don't step in the hole. Okay, but I got this message and the universe says, don't step in the hole. But does it mean you're going to fall off a cliff? No, it means don't step in the hole. Does it mean the earth you're going to fall into a volcano? No, it means don't step in the hole. That's all. Sometimes it's just as simple as that, but we received it from the universe, so maybe it's supposed to be more than that. Maybe not. It may be just a sentence of encouragement. Have this stamina. Take yourself back a little bit. It's like I was talking about lifting weights the other day as how you build up to something. So you don't try to do, if you're trying to lift 100 pounds, you don't try to lift 100 pounds 10 times. You try to lift 80 pounds 10 times. And then you try to do 100 pounds once. And then twice, and then 3 times. And when you get used to that 100 pounds, then you work up to 6 times, and then 7 times. You don't ever just go over and say, I'm going to pick up 200 pounds, and I'm going to bench press it 10 times. It don't work like that. So, but in life and in spirituality, there's a lot of connections. Okay, so Chloe says, to continue on, and Chloe, you're getting it. I'm so proud of you. That goes back to the whole, I don't have to take a leap. I can actually take a baby step. And I've never conceived the idea of a baby step, not for me anyway, but now I'm listening. Thank you for being that long with me. And I appreciate it and love you for amazing so far. Thank you. You're welcome, Chloe. And they're telling me I needed to stick this out a little longer, that there was a little bit more to this that you needed to hear, but along with other people. Sobbing with gratitude, yes, not on a public forum. And here I was thinking I was out of step. Truth in me, not necessarily. Millie Cow, hi, butt cramp. I have some coffee ready now. You can have some too, Bob. Thank you, Millie Cow. I love it, the fact that you keep the running jokes running. I love it. Truth in me, you're absolutely welcome, Truth. Thank you again, Hawkeye. Gratitude to Chloe. That's how I'm feeling right now. Ween butt cramp. Yeah, she's sitting over here laughing at me. Michelle, the butt cramp blues. Yes, I got my guitar out just for you, Michelle. I'm going to come up with it. There's going to be the butt cramp blues, and then there's going to be the butt cramp boogie. I mean, when you stand up and try to get rid of anyway. Now I'm curious about the dead raccoon. I will go look up after this. Chloe says, you're too funny sometimes, Hawkeye. You do funny impress. That's what I used to do all the time, was a puppeteer and storyteller, actor, and so forth. But anyway, Michelle says, cheers, Bob. Yep, I'm going for coffee, my friends. You folks really, truly are lovely. Thank you for participating. Thank you for caring about your own campfire sing along. Hey, that would be great. We'll do that one night, maybe. Honestly, seriously, maybe we'll do that one night. My friends, be safe, be kind, stay warm. Keep working on it. And if maybe think of the baby steps. Sometimes we may just be chicken to take a bigger step. Now, that's different than trying to take too big of a step all at once. So, but every moment is a decision. So you say, it's better to take a baby step than no step at all. But it may be that after you've gotten your balance, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to take a whole step. So, but you have to be aware of yourself and aware of what's going on around you. And you may take a whole step, but then go back to doing baby steps again. So not every step is a leap. Not every step is a teeny little, only an inch movement. Some things require big steps. Other things, Hawkeye is my spirit YouTuber. Thank you. And I really do feel humbled by that. I do. I take great pride, but humbleness in that. I mean, Breaking Dawn and I sit here, and there are times when I get done with the thing, and I'm literally crying, because it's like I'm being used as a vehicle to help other people. In my realm, how great is that? I don't have to be Elvis Presley, because if I can help one soul, one spirit get to where it's supposed to go, wow. I literally, when I started doing these YouTube stuff, and for those folks who've been around me for a while, it's not about how many people have subscribed to this channel. It's how many people are paying attention to some of the topics being discussed. They stop and look and say, well, that's interesting. And at least they're trying. Everybody that subscribed to this channel, and thank you all, I mean that, is looking for a higher spiritual awareness. So we are all members of this League of Like-Minded Beings. We're all part of this little groupie thingy here. But in that, look at how much we share with each other. And we know that we're not alone. For those moments when we think, oh, crap, nobody else is going through this, raise your hand. Wait a minute, I'm doing it. She's got her hand raised. Everybody in the room can raise their hands now, because we're all going through something similar. So we are definitely not alone, as Ian or somebody said up top. But anyway, so let me read your last few comments. And I ain't got to get out of here. My butt cramp. I'm sitting here, my legs are going. Thank you. A message that came to us related to this: if you can't beat them, then you can't join them. Leave them. Thank you, Jody. Yeah, if you can't beat them, it doesn't mean give up and well, I'll become a Nazi. No, just say I refuse to participate. If you can't beat them, then just don't participate. Don't give them any energy. But thank you, Jody. Truth in me, that's a beautiful night. Campfire sounds good. Yes, it does. Jody, thank you for agreeing. Yes, to get footing is important. Yes, it is. You got to be sure in your footing. And the best way to start, little steps at a time. But don't be afraid, to get footing. Yep, okay. Chloe, yes, small portions, small baby steps. Yes, Chloe, and we're behind you. You got this, girl. You know what I'm saying? Chloe says, you are so right. That's why I don't go messing with that stuff right there. Plus, I just go to source. Absolutely. All right. Truth to me, I really needed to hear this tonight. You people, by your comments, bless me so much. Because it's like, oh, thank you. I'm going to get done with this. And I'm filled with emotion from the fact that, wow. See, I listened to my spirit guide tonight. to do this video. And you listen to your spirit guide to tune in tonight. And with participation of all of us, we're making a group effort in this understanding. So I'm very humbled, my friends, truly. And, in the cosmic sky, we're all going to get together and, hey, Pyramid 7, how, yo, right back at you. But for those of us, don't give up, please. Remember about the elk. It is about stamina. You can be chased by a mountain lion, but if you pace yourself, maybe you can outrun them. They just ain't going to be able to keep up with this. So that's sort of what I hadn't really thought about this as far as elk is concerned, but I have sort of felt this myself. Sometimes you just need to dig in and be here for the long haul, period. Part of the reason for this discussion. What do you want in the long haul? And what we want is to be spiritually better. What degree? We just want to be better. That's all. We want to do better. That's all. How much better? Do I want to be God and create planets and stuff? Well, that might be interesting, but I'm having a hard time learning how just to be a human being, let alone be manifesting something out there in space. But with that, my friends, howdy, friends. TIM. Okay. Blessings, folks. Till next time, I've got some other topics coming up, and the angels are always sending me stuff to have discussions, and they're always telling me to get on because there's somebody out there that needs to hear this message. So thank you for allowing me to listen to my spirit guides. Thank you for allowing me to get feedback. Did they really want to hear this shit tonight? Obviously you did. Obviously it was important for us to have this conversation. I'm humbled, proud, and thankful that all this works out the way it does. So, cheers, my friend. Breaking Dawn's sitting over here. She'll probably send a message on her phone. And I really do have to go get firewood and stuff. Until next time, be safe, be kind, be that compassionate. And I always end with a prayer, and I do mean this. I continue to pray that each and every one of you will accept and receive the healings, the knowledge, and the blessing of the universe. I continue to pray each and every day that you, your friends, your family, all of your relatives, and all of your relations will accept and receive the knowledge, the healing, the knowledge, and the wonderful benefits of the universe. And I continue to pray that each and every one of you will continue to accept, be brave, accept and receive and share as you are doing these wonderful gifts from the universe that are always there when we ask. My blessings, my friend. Thank you for your participation in the universe of things. Thank you for being my friend and being here. Breaking Dawn, the same thing. We love you all, we do. Cosmic hugs from South Georgia. TTFN for now. Stay warm. And Bob, thank you, Bob, but we want to cure your hiccups, by the way. Just saying. With a little tune called the Butt Cramp Boogie. Talk to you later.